to EIP Editing Office, our meeting number 58. This is EIP only meeting. That means we are going to consider pull requests which are added to EIP GitHub repositories. This is issue number 1476 on Ethereum PM. And I'm happy to welcome Gajendra Singh, who is the editor, for reviewing the proposals today. Welcome, Gajendra. If you would like to share your screen and we can go over the pull requests.
Thank you, Pooja. Let me set it up. Is it coming through?
Yes.
All right. So we can take a look at these proposals one by one.
Sure, yeah, we can start with miscellaneous. Perfect. The reason why I have added this one, it seems to me like an act of a bot considered a lot of open PRs for editing smaller changes. And some of those are on stagnant status. So perhaps we may not approve the stagnant one, but yeah, it's a good idea to take a look.
When should these PRs be first approved by the authors of this EIP? And yes, they are sort of bundled.
Maybe just in order to respond to whoever has authored this PR, we can write it down that it is a good idea to have individual PR for each of the proposals so you can get approval by the authors. If that's a human, perhaps that individual will make some action and have different PRs. It will be easier for us to close one by one rather than all of them in a bunch because we may not be getting approval for all the authors at once.
So I see that authors of these PRs have reviewed it, but there still seems to be some pending issue that needs to be resolved. But even then, yeah, it's better that these would have been independent PRs, but I think
I think we recently received a comment here by Dano saying looks good to me. And I believe Dano is leading the EUF proposal. So anything in specific that we are waiting for?
so I'm not sure. I mean, so Alex has also sort of reviewed these PRs, and this comment is basically saying waiting to resolve one last issue.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
But even then, it does not require editor's approval because if you look at the reviewers, these seems to be all authors of this PR, and
If one of
basically,
them, yeah.
yeah, I think if Alex will approve the PR, all will get approved, or it will require approval from at least authors from each of these PR.
Yeah, yep, that makes sense. I think this is another stagnant proposal, PR number 9210, where Micah has already suggested that it's a withdrawn EIP and should not accept any more changes, which I also support because withdrawn is a terminal status. And once a proposal reaches withdrawn, there is no point of like improving it because it can never go back to regular stages or statuses of EIP.
Yeah, I mean, but it is just a type of X. I'm not sure what is the right.
We can perhaps ignore that because there is no one looking into this withdrawn proposal for the reason withdrawn can never be revived. If anyone is interested in this particular proposal and want to pursue, the general recommendation is that you come up with a new PR with a new EIP number, and whenever you are making that new PR, you can perhaps make all the typo fixes there. Unless you have intention of like pursuing that proposal, uh, making all PRs to withdrawn status does not add value. That's my opinion as well.
So what does ignore here means? Close the PR?
Yes, that should be the ideal way because it does not make sense to improve it. Neither he is an author nor he wants to pursue the proposal. We can just mention it like, okay, if you want to pursue the proposal, please go ahead and create a new EIP. Otherwise, we can close the PR. It seems Micah is the author for that proposal as well. That's why he recommended it.
So this is also a withdrawn EIP.
Yeah, perhaps we should provide some guidelines to whoever wants to make a pull request to these repositories. Given that many people try to make it for farming purposes, we should have some guidelines that unless this is a value adding PR, please do not increase the number of pull requests. No, I'm sorry. That can be too harsh on people, but I think it will make sense to merge PRs only when it has real meaning and it is actually adding value.
Yep, makes sense.
I understand the value in an active EIP if someone is trying to make typo fixes for draft or any other statuses, but final or withdrawn, it definitely makes sense. Even for final, because that's the pristine status we want to maintain. It does make sense to me.
This is again withdrawn.
I noticed the number has significantly increased, the number of open PRs, and I believe withdrawn EIP's typo fixes may have contributed decently in that. I'm not sure if we are ever gonna consider EIP 2315, and it is already in withdrawn status.
Yeah, but why is it showing up twice? I mean, I already reviewed this PR.
Oh, that is my bad. You are right there. I think I have by mistakenly added it twice.
Yeah, I already reviewed it, and I think this is still a draft in progress, and most probably Light Client is working on it.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, a general recommendation to author whose proposals are not ready for review, they can perhaps keep it in draft PR rather than just draft.
So there are still comments that have not been addressed,
I notice
and I read few more comments.
uh-huh. Yeah, thank you for reviewing these proposals before the meeting. It is super helpful.
So added some new comments because, for example, uh, this section is more about motivation and less about security.
That makes sense.
And added some editing comments. So we'll come back to this once author has reviewed the comments and addressed them.
Mhm.
Not sure why GitHub is not responding.
Looks like we lost him. Maybe some internet connection issue.
Yeah, apologies for disconnection.
No worries. Good to see you back. Yes, we can see your screen now.
So added some editing comments over this EIP. So we'll get back to it when author will address these comments. Pooja, is my screen still coming through or is it disconnected?
It is, but we can still see the agenda, not the PR. Yes.
So I have also reviewed algorithmic transaction wrapper EIP and have added some editing comments over there. So again, we'll wait for author to review and address them, as well as also reviewed the S delegate opcode PR. Okay, GitHub seems to be working again.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I have already reviewed that, so maybe we can take a look at it next time when author comes back on it. It seems like my internet connection is not stable today.
No worries. Good that we have already covered whatever has been added to agenda. Would love to invite any other developers to maybe add their pull request to agenda if they want it to be reviewed, like if there is any issue making that PR move forward, or if they don't understand anything that has been already recommended. Otherwise, it's good because we are also doing this editing office hour every week, so we expect less issues to be added here. Well, thank you so much for your time and consideration, Gajendra Singh, and we look forward to the next EAP editing office hour. The next meeting is on April 29th at 1600 UTC. It will be for both EIP and ERC GitHub repository with Sam Wilson. Thank you everyone for joining us here today.